What's going on, everybody? It's your boy JP, Joe Paul. We are back in the motherfucking building. Hope everybody's having a great day, a wonderful afternoon, an amazing evening. Hope every time you're watching this video, you are in good spirits and you are lit. We are back with another playoff update, man. Today we're going to be talking about the Minnesota Timberwolves finishing the sweep of the Phoenix Suns a couple nights ago. Let's see, Anthony Edwards. He averages 38 points per game, 9 rebounds per game, 5.5 assists per game in the 2 games that were in Phoenix. Those ultimately being the last 2 they needed to win the series. And let's just go ahead and let's just talk about it. Where do you even start? Like, there's so many different places where you can start with this series. You can talk about just how crazy Anthony Edwards was. You could talk about just the debacle that is, the Phoenix Suns, and just how the various wrong moves that they made and all that stuff about how they got here. But we're going to start on a positive note. We're going to start with Anthony Edwards, man, because when I talked about the preview for this series, I said that the best thing going into it is the fact that there was no more confusion about who the guy was, about whose team it was, about who was the number one for the Minnesota Timberwolves. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that, like, them not having that clear distinction could potentially cause issues for a team that, is young. They're not really kind of sure where their footing is, necessarily in a playoff setting. But for them to have a guy like Anthony Edwards, a guy who has all the talent, all the charisma, all the personality, everything that you would want, in your basketball team leader, Anthony Edwards has that and then some. Like I've said it before, he has a little bit of growing up to do. He's only 22 years old. But, man, for a 22-year-old, man, he dominates the floor offensively. He has so much pride in his offensive ability. Like, there were various times throughout this series where he would make a play on Devin Booker. He would make a play on Kevin Durant, make a play on Bradley Beal. He was just all over the place. He was just all over the place. And I think that him having that time to not play with Cat over the course of the season really was like, that was like the big like epiphany for him. That's kind of like where it all came together for Anthony Edwards. So in this game, he has 40 points, he has 9 rebounds, he has 6 assists, and then he gets the highlight trifecta. What is the highlight trifecta, you might ask? He got one poster dunk on KD. And he had one crazy block on Devin Booker. A play where it's a tight game coming down the stretch. Devin Booker trying to keep Phoenix in the game. Ant meets him at the rim and gets to get the block and get the possession back for his team. And then he had a handful of plays of nasty plays on Bradley Beal. The play where he actually dunked on Kevin Durant, he actually ended up hitting Bradley Beal with some boo 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 shit, to get to the rim, and he ends up dunking on Kevin Durant. He had a couple of nice turnarounds on Bradley Beal too. Really put Bradley Beal in a very, very bad position. Had him looking really just like a complete net negative on the floor. Bradley Beal already had his own struggles, and we'll talk about that when we get to the Suns. I just think that for a team that coming into it, they had, all the discussion about, they're too young, they're this, they're that. They put all that noise to the side. And I'm actually proud of both the Timberwolves and the Thunder for doing that, because when it comes down to it, man, as a young team in the playoffs, for some reason, people just kind of expect you to fail. They feel like there are steps you have to take before you're actually able to, necessarily be one of the top, dangerous teams in the West in the league or whatever. But what the Timberwolves and the Thunder are showing is that that's not true at all. Like, the Timberwolves, not even just Anthony Edwards, across the board, they dominated the Phoenix Suns. Jaden McDaniels dominated his matchup of guarding Devin Booker and Bradley Beal. He even guarded Kevin Durant. He also did his work on the offensive end. He had a game where he dropped 25 points. Nickeil Alexander-Walker had himself a crazy playoff series. He's had a great series, a great season overall. But Nickeil really found a role on himself on this Minnesota team. You see his ability to play defense is really highlighted on this team, and his shot making is something that is so important for a team like this. Like, he really did his thing. Everybody knows about Rudy. Cat, even though Cat's, I think, a little stupid in the head sometimes, Cat really just proved that he, like I was saying before, he is one of the most dangerous second options in all of basketball. In the closeout game, he had 28 points. He was and he shot 4 for 6 from the 3-point line. Like, the guy is, you know what I'm saying, he's like I said, he has his CTE moments and his moments where you're like, Cat, what the fuck are you doing? But you cannot say the guy is not just like an offensive asset and a benefit to have on the team. He's the best 3-point shooting center of all time. You know what I'm saying? He's come out and he told us that. And like I said, man, Anthony Edwards, he came and gave you 38 points per game, 9 rebounds, 5.5 assists in the 2 games in Phoenix. He's coming out, he's hitting the wrestling celebration thing on the Phoenix Suns, just really, really arriving on the scene as an NBA superstar. And listen, with this playoffs, with there being no LeBron now, KD is now gone, Stephen Curry is gone, like, we have nothing but to do but to watch these young superstars really come into their own and really just like be the players that, I ain't gonna lie, the sport really needs them to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, with us understanding that we are at the change of a guard. Like, you know what I'm saying? We're leaving the LeBron and the Kevin Durants and the Steph Currys. Like, they are officially the past. I believe starting this season, you can just say they are the past of basketball. And we have now transitioned to an era where we are in the future. I believe that more playoffs will look like this going forward. We're not gonna have, you know what I'm saying, like, I think, like, listen, once the Clippers lose, let me think. Yeah, once the Clippers lose, man, we're really going to be out of, you know what I'm saying, the players that I've grew up with. You know what I'm saying? The James Harden, the Kawhis, the PGs, the Russes, the LeBrons, the KDs, the, you know what I'm saying, Steph, all that good stuff. Once the Clippers are eliminated, that's it. That's it. We have nothing but new young talent. You know what I'm saying? Well, in round 2, we would have Shea versus Luka. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have Anthony Edwards versus Jokic. You know what I'm saying? Even in the East, we have Jalen Brunson and Tyrese Halliburton. And then we're going to have the Celtics playing against the Orlando Magic because they're going to win that series. You heard it here first. But, like, it's just nothing but brand new, like I said, a brand new changing of the guard that needs superstars, that needs people to come in and fit that role, to come in and play. Like, we need Dwayne Wade's and Carmelo Anthony's and Tracy McGrady's, and, you know what I'm saying, just these guys that they're not necessarily the best players of all time, but they're so important to what the sport is and what the sport needs. And for the history of the game, they need these amazing players to keep moving the game forward. All right, so that's enough positivity. That's 7.5 minutes of positivity for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Shout out to them. The Phoenix Suns, man. So, like I said, when I did the preview for this series, I made a video this past summer when the trade happened, and I said I don't understand this trade. You know what I'm saying? They are a team that is drastically limited on their roster now. They don't even have the financial mobility to make moves and really bolster up that roster and become any better than they currently were. And they didn't have a fucking point guard. They did not have one of the main positions you need for any successful basketball team. There hasn't been one basketball team that's won a championship but did not have a good point guard. You know what I'm saying? Or a guy that could fill the role of a point guard. Like, let's go down the list. Who won the championship last year? The Nuggets. Who was their point guard? Jamal Murray. Before that, who won the championship? The Golden State Warriors. Who was their point guard? Stephen Curry. The Milwaukee Bucks had been knocking on the door for years. They had been to multiple Eastern Conference Finals, but they won a championship in 2021 because they got what? A point guard in Drew Holiday. 2020, LeBron's playing point guard, and they have Rondo as a backup. They win that championship. 2019, they had Kyle Lowry. But Kyle Lowry's a motherfucking Hall of Famer. Stop playing with him. Like, you need a point guard in order to somebody to get you into your sets, and somebody to able just you know what I'm saying, keep the thing going at a consistent pace. And the Phoenix Suns did not have that. You saw it during the regular season, and you saw it during their stretches of games because I believe they were the worst fourth quarter team in the entire NBA. How can that be when you have Devin Booker and Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal? How is that? Because you don't have anybody to actually get them in position to honestly score the ball. Like, yes, is it possible for Devin Booker or any of those three to have the ball at the top of the key and create a bucket for themselves? Absolutely, it's possible. It's actually very likely that it can happen. But down the stretch of a game, when people are able to game plan and pinpoint and they know what you're going to do every single time, it makes you too easy to guard. It makes you way too easy to guard. And you saw it down the stretch of the game. The games where they weren't getting blown out in Minnesota, the games where it was actually kind of close, you saw that the team just wasn't able to sustain the offense down the stretch of the game. And when you have Anthony Edwards, who was over here just being his own offense, like there was no way for them to keep up. There was no way for them to keep up. So going forward, it's like, what do you do? What are we going to do to make this team better? And you look at their conscious situation in their roster, and you're like, there's not much we can do besides move one of Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, or Kevin Durant. And you're like, you don't want to move Devin Booker. Devin Booker is your homegrown talent. He's the guy who, when he got there, he was on the shit team. They become a young, exciting team, and now they're kind of assed out. So you don't want to trade that guy. He's been there the entire run. You kind of can't trade Bradley Beal because he has a no trade clause. So unless you plan on trading him to another contending team and potentially losing on your investment, you're gonna have to hold on to him. So then it comes down to, do you trade Kevin fucking Durant, like the guy who you just kind of upended the whole franchise for just a year and some change ago? Do we take that route? They just have so many questions and not enough answers. They don't have control of their first round pick until 2030, and I believe after this year they don't have control of their second round pick until 2030. They are fucked. They're fucked. Let's just call a spade. They are fucked in terms of like they put too much on the card at once. They tried to microwave the whole super team thing, microwave the championship, and it just constantly proves time and time again. I said it in the video over the summer, you cannot microwave a championship. You cannot just put three talented names together and hope it wins a championship, because it only has happened to LeBron James. It hasn't happened to anybody else, but people have kept trying. People keep trying to do that. OKC did it with Melo and Russ and PG, and they didn't even fucking make it past the first round. The Nets tried to do it with KD, Kyrie, and James Harden. They never even saw a conference finals, and they only played 2 games where all 3 of them were even healthy in the second round of the playoffs. Like, it doesn't work. The Sixers did it with Jimmy Joel and Ben Simmons. It does not work. It takes time. It takes a very, very special kind of player in order for that to happen. And that special kind of player is LeBron fucking James. And if you do not have LeBron fucking James on your roster, it's not going to work. So hopefully we as a basketball society can just be like, you know what? Enough of the third star shit. It doesn't work. It does not work. It's even LeBron, and when he most recently tried to do it, it didn't work. They tried to bring Russ in, and it didn't fucking work. It was the worst 1.5-year stretch of Russell Westbrook's entire career, and the team was a fucking laughing stock for it. You know what I'm saying? The whole idea of we're just going to stockpile talent, 3 big names, and it doesn't matter who's around them. The league is too talented for that. The 1 seed in the West was a team that their average age, I believe, is 24 or 25 years old. The league is too talented for you to think that you're going to put fucking old ancient names like fucking Russell Westbrook, Paul George, James Harden, and Kawhi Leonard. I didn't mean to take a shot at the fucking Clippers, but it came to mind. It's too late for us to think that we're going to put these 4 names together and they're going to be enough alone to win us a championship. It's just no. We're past those days. We're past those times. So let's go ahead and let's break it down bit by bit. What exactly is going to happen in the future for the Phoenix Suns? So, at the very top, we're going to start with Devin Booker, man. I feel bad for Book, bro. When Book got to the Phoenix Suns, I believe in 2015, I think the year it was, when he got to the Suns in 2015, they were fucking old and they were trash. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure they had Isaiah Thomas still on the team. I'm pretty sure they had Bledsoe still on the team. Brandon Knight was on the roster. Tyson Chandler was on the roster. Like, they were fucking trash and old and just like had no direction. You know what I'm saying? Books withstands all the bullshit. He even signs an extension while they're ass. He signs an extension while they're bad. Just kind of saying, we're going to get this together. You know what I'm saying? They get that. They get out Chris Paul, and then they're exciting. They're a young, exciting team. Then you see names like Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson and DeAndre Ayton, and you're like, oh, shit, maybe the Suns or something, they'll be here for a couple of years. But then, they age out. You know what I'm saying? That happens with the best one. They had clearly reached a clear ceiling with the Devin Booker, Chris Paul, Mikal, Cam, DeAndre Ayton lineup. We understand that. You know what I'm saying? But they have that game 7 in Phoenix where Luka does what Luka did to them. And I ain't gonna lie to you, a piece of me feels like as a franchise, they still never recovered from that. Because everything that they've been trying to do has been trying to kind of get them back in that position where they want to get to where they were at in that Maverick series, where they felt like they were on top of the world. They felt like there was nothing they could do wrong that would, that could negatively affect them in that at that point. But then, life came at them. Luka comes out, he outscores you in a half, and you go home. And now you're just trying to get back. You know what I'm saying? And now Devin Booker comes into a team where the team was ass. They became exciting. They trade Kevin Durant in an effort to try to kind of, hey, we don't want to fall off the whole championship plateau yet. Like we don't want to fall out of that. We don't want to say that our championship window is closed just yet. So we're gonna bring in a Kevin Durant. And they bring in Kevin Durant, and then last year they're kind of close, and it's you know what I'm saying? You can kind of see the vision, and then Matt Ishbia comes in and he says, you know what, guys? Don't worry about it. I'm taking us out of contention single-handedly by trading for Bradley Beal. And now you're like, for Devin Booker, you're like, damn, what the fuck do I do now? I was here when this team was trash. I was here when we got good, and now we're about to be trash again with no direction on being able to get better for at least the next half decade. What does he do? What does he do? Realistically speaking, like, I'm actually kind of interested with his contract situation, and let me pull up his contract. Because, like, you got to think, it has to be on his mind that I need to get out of here. Like, I need to get out of Phoenix because Matt Ishbia is running this team into the ground. He's running the team into the absolute ground. So let's see. D Book is a free agent after the 2029 season. So he technically, by the virtue of the contract, D Book would be here the entire time that the team is ass. The entire time where they have no control of their first and second round pick, D Book would have to be there, and they would just have to endure. He would be playing seasons for. He really just be playing seasons for the end result. Like, hey, in this season we won in the first round, we lost in the second round. Hey, in this series we made it to the conference finals. We're not building towards anything because we can't afford to build towards anything. We have Beal on our books, we have KD on our books, we have D Book on our books. We can't afford to make moves. So if you're just like, damn, D Book, what is there for us to do? So I feel bad for booking that for that rate. You know what I'm saying? The team came in ass. He came in, the team was ass. He there for a decade, and the team is ass again, like crazy. So let's go. Let's talk about from the Bradley Beal portion of it. Bradley Beal, he's really fine. Honestly, the Bradley Beal has potentially the worst contract in the NBA, but he doesn't really give a damn. He just collects the checks on it. He don't have to pay the contract. So hey man, he gets paid $50.2 million next year, $53.6 million in 26, $57.1 million in 27, and then he'll be a free agent at 34 years old, where potentially he could sign another contract for a couple years if he wanted to. It wouldn't be a super max or anything like that, but he could get him a nice little contract. So shout out to the Wizards, man. They definitely listen. When you talk about a team taking care of you, that's what you want, man. You get that generational wealth, you get traded to another team, and then, hey, bro, it don't even really fucking matter what you do at that point. You pay it regardless. Because then at this point, if they want to get rid of you, Bradley, they'll have to buy you out, bro. And the buyout is starting at almost $160 million. So, you coolin', bro. Keep doing your thing, Bradley Beal. For Frank Vogel and for the front office, man, Frank Vogel is probably going to get fired. You know what I'm saying? He's having the same kind of situation that Darvin Ham is having, where people just kind of, when it comes to his job, they're just focused on the end result, and the team got swept. And I get it. Getting swept is a big deal. It's not like oh, hey, you got swept, who the fuck cares? Like, it is a big deal. Like, for you to lose 4 times in a row, especially to a team that you beat 3 times in a row in the regular season, it is kind of like, what's going on there. But there were so many issues wrong with this team that I don't think that Frank Vogel was one of the main ones. I think that, you know what I'm saying, their roster construction was dog shit. You know what I'm saying? Like who was their big bench player? Eric Gordon, like, you know what I'm saying, like they were not a super good team really at anything outside of being able to score the basketball in the mid range. They didn't have great defenders. They didn't have great rim protection. They were relying on Kevin Durant to play the 4 in 2024. It's just like, that's not Frank Vogel's fault. That's Matt Ishbia's fault. Frank Vogel didn't fucking trade for Bradley Beal. Matt Ishbia did that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that Frank Vogel's about to get the short end of the stick. You know what I'm saying? Really, man, Matt Ishbia just set him up for failure, bro. Set him up for absolute failure, bro. The roster was garbage. They had no point guard, no bench depth, no youth, and now they have no future. And so, honestly, if you do trade Frank, if I was Frank, I'd be like, thank you, bro. Because I don't want to be a part of this fuck shit, no way. But last but not least, man, Kevin Durant. What does this mean for one Kevin Durant? And what I ended up coming to the conclusion is that Kevin Durant's career, if you're a fan of him, it was a failure, bro. His career has been nothing but failure the entire time. You're like, you know, he was exciting in OKC. He leads them to a finals appearance at 23 years old. And you think that the world is, you know, he is going to be somebody competing with LeBron James for that best player in the world spot for like over a generation, like for over a decade or so. And, you know, he's there for a couple of years, but then, you know, the decision to Golden State happens. And, like, I'm not going to lie, like, maybe I'm dramatic. Maybe it's just, like, you know, how I'm feeling after the whole situation. But he ruined his career when he did that. He ruined his career. Like, I think that Kevin Durant would have been better off had he not won the 2 championships in Golden State. So say he never won a championship. Say he ends up like a Melo or a Tracy McGrady, right? He never wins those championships, but he stays in Golden State, or he goes to San Antonio, or he goes to Boston, or whatever other team in 2016, and he, you know what I'm saying, he still is Kevin Durant. He's winning MVPs, because I think that move to Golden State eliminated him winning MVPs, because people just stopped respecting him at that point. You know what I'm saying? You understand that he is an amazing player, a great talent, but you just don't respect the man on like a competitive level. And you can say that people didn't do that, and I would say you're completely wrong. I think that, you know what I'm saying, a lot of the stuff that we see even to this day is people just not respecting Kevin Durant. They don't talk about him in a positive light because they don't have positive things to say about him outside of the fact that he can shoot the shit out the basketball. You know what I'm saying? So him going to Golden State, lucky for him, he's able to win those championships. But the kind of the public, you know what I'm saying, opinion on him shifts. You know what I'm saying? He's not just this beloved character anymore. You know what I'm saying? And then so Golden State happens. They're young. They're exciting. And then Kevin Durant doubles down and says, you know what? I don't even want to be successful in the basketball portion of this anymore. He already fucking forfeited the whole winning awards aspect of it. But I don't even want to be a successful basketball player anymore because I'm going to leave the only place where I've seen success. He left Golden State when he really didn't have to. Like, if his goal was to win as many championships as possible, there was no reason for him to leave Golden State. And ultimately, you think he left Golden State because somebody hurt his fucking feelings. Because Draymond Green called him a bitch, and he didn't like how the organization handled it. And it's like, all right, bro, I guess I get it. I understand part of that. At the same time, bro, if your goal is to win a championship, bro, then that shit really doesn't matter to you. You know what I'm saying? You guys squash it. Clearly, they were able to squash it and be cool at the playing for Team USA a couple years later. But in that moment, like, you forfeit. You say you don't want to win championships anymore because you want to go and be your own man. And so let's just talk about what happened since he left Golden State in 2019. 2021, he's injured. He's recovering from the Achilles injury. In 2021, the super team with James Harden happens. They lose in Game 7 to the Bucks. Like I said before, the Nets only play with basically KD and a quarter of James Harden for most of that series. You know what I'm saying? 2022, they're swept by Boston. Then he requests a trade to Phoenix, where they lose to Denver in round 2, and then they get packed up this year. And I'm not gonna lie, over the last couple of years, it's been steadily declining for Kevin Durant in terms of, so he hit his absolute peak, I think, in 2021. I think in 2021 is where, honestly, if you were a fan of Kevin Durant, your shit was at an all-time peak in 2021. He came off the Achilles injury. You know what I'm saying? He even had an injury in January where he missed time. But bro, when the guy was playing, he was absolutely phenomenal. He was hitting shots like we had never seen before. Like, he looked like the old Kevin Durant. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't work out. So, you know what I'm saying? He doesn't make the conference finals. You're like, all right, cool. There'll always be next year. And this is where you start to see the actual cracks in his personality start to come out. You know what I'm saying? That's where you start to realize he starts to have the whole I'm happen. And yo, Kevin Durant can say that he's not a leader. He can say that it's not his job to, to be a leader and all that, bro. But you can say that, but then look at your career, bro. That's exactly what where that mentality gets you. My job is just to come here and just to play basketball and make sure that thing. It's like, no, that's not your only job, because what the Brooklyn Nets needed when you were there, bro, was a leader. They needed a leader. They had a fucking clown running the damn franchise. They had Sean Marks and Joe Tsai doing just the most boneheaded things I ever seen, just fucking alienating their star point guard for whatever. And what does Kevin Durant do in that time? Nothing, essentially. Oh, yeah, well, yeah, we support Kai. Bro, we need you to get Kai in the fucking building, bro. You supporting Kai from Barclays does nothing for us. It does nothing for anybody, bro. It does nothing for anybody. But you need to get Kai in the building. You need to get this team together. Because now James Harden is disgruntled. Now James Harden wants out because he didn't sign up for that bullshit. He didn't sign up to have fucking the organization be against Kyrie. The fucking the state of New York is against Kyrie. You know what I'm saying? The government is against Kyrie with the whole vaccine mandates. And now you're like, hey, Kevin Durant, what are we going to do to get this show on the road? I don't know, bro. I'm just here to play basketball. What the fuck? What the fuck, KD? And that little cracks, and people are. I've heard people say, "Oh, it's just not who he is. It's not who he wants to be." If he wants to be the best basketball player, like that, if he wants to be the best basketball player that he could possibly be, and I know that he wants to be a winner. I know he wants to win championships. You know that he wants to be somebody who is regarded as one of the best basketball players ever. He might not act like it, but you just know that's just what he is. Like, he wouldn't be playing all these years if he didn't just love doing what he does. I don't think that he comes out and plays these seasons just to say, hey, how many points can I score? Like, he plays to win championships. And just the guy has just, I don't even know how the fuck to really like cap this off, bro. He's really just been a disappointment. You see him get swept twice in the last 4 years. He only has 2 playoff series wins in the last 2 years. I believe he has, 6 straight playoff losses between the 2 in Denver and the 4 in Minnesota this year. Just think about all-time status, but around the time of 2016, before he went to Golden State, you thinking that Kevin Durant wanted to be a top 15 player would be laughable, right? You'd be like, there's no way he's not a top 15 player. He's been passed up by multiple people that are still playing right now. Steph has passed him up. Giannis has passed him up. Jokic has passed him up. I say Kawhi Leonard has passed him up. Even though Kawhi Leonard does not have a regular season MVP, Kawhi Leonard has 2 championships, one of which where he was the main guy. Something that Kevin Durant has never done. Kevin Durant has never once won a championship as the main guy. And since Golden State, he has not even seen a lick of postseason success. And at some point, you got to just kind of sit back and accept like who the guy is. And who he is a phenomenal athlete, a phenomenal basketball player who can score on anywhere on the court. But he's also a very, very, very limited player because of that. Because he does not want to take that next step. And so, listen, bro, this is also might be a hot take. If I was Kevin Durant, bro, I would consider retiring in the next couple years. Like, in the next 3 years. Only because, listen, bro, Kevin Durant as the best player on the team in winning a championship, I think those days are long gone. I think that the days where you have Kevin Durant as your 1 or your 2, you're not gonna win a championship with that guy. He just does not have what it takes up here. Like, not unless you have like a Draymond on your team or somebody who can actually, like, you know what I'm saying, do the leading for you. But if you're gonna be paying a guy 40, 50 million a year to put up 26 points per game, and that's really it, then at that point, bro, get you a young guy. Get you a young guy. There's no point for you to pay a guy who's going to be 35 starting next year that much money to not really be what a team needs. And at 35 years old, bro, what you need to be is a vet. You need to be a vet. You need to be a leader. And that's just not who you are, bro. And that's just really all there is to it. Now the Timberwolves move on to face Denver Nuggets. That'll be an exciting series kicking off on Saturday. Their fucking coach. It's been so much. I've spent so much time talking about all this stuff. I even talked about my man Chris Finch tearing his patella tendon. Wild stuff. But that's all we got for this one, man. Make sure you guys leave a like. Make sure you guys leave a comment. Let me know who you guys think is going to win Timberwolves Nuggets game 1. And let me know what you guys think happens going forward with the Phoenix Suns. It's your boy JP. Peace and love, family. Deuces.